When you're shopping for a house, is it better to go to open houses on the weekends or book showings with your agent? Let's chat about it. So number one, we want to show you the house. You're never bugging an agent when you're asking to view a property. That's our job. That's what we're there for. And I want to see the property. If you're interested and it's a viable option, I want to be there and see it with you so that I can point out positives and possibly negatives that might not be visible to you or, any other visitors at an open house. So a lot of my clients are actually really lovely people, and there's one downfall is that they're so friendly that when they go to open houses, they talk to the agent and they reveal too much information about themselves. Now, number one, the realtor is supposed to stop you from revealing things like why you're moving or what your job is or your financial status. But sometimes you might let it slip or a realtor doesn't stop you. And that basically reveals your negotiation position right there at the open house. And if you do decide to come back and write an offer on the property, they're going to have information against you that they can share with the sellers, and they will share with the sellers. So that's something to watch out for, is if you go to open houses, at least zip it. Don't tell anybody anything about yourself. You're nothing, you're a ghost, you're just looking at a house. The second thing is sometimes when you go to an open house, even if it's the right home for you, having other people present makes it feel less like the one. I don't know what it is, but even in a double booked showing where there's two parties present, it always turns people off and sets them against the house. So if it's a house you really like, you want to book a private showing so you're experiencing it on your own, in your own space, and you don't have other people who you're envisioning possibly living in your dream home. It creates a sense of competition, and I find it can turn you off of things that might be just the right match for you. Another thing with open houses is that you have to remember that the selling agent or somebody who's working for the selling agent is getting to the home probably an hour early and lighting candles, maybe putting a batch of cookies in the oven and turning all the lights on, turning the heat up, all that stuff, right? They're fluffing up the property to sell it because they want it to look in its best light. But when you show up with a buyer's agent, we're showing up, we turn the lights on and everything, but for example, we're not going around and hiding little nicks in the walls or anything like that behind curtains or anything, right? We're experiencing the house as it would be on a daily basis. So I think sometimes it's better to come and view the property without it being put in its most glamorous light, so to speak. Another thing, not just with open houses, but with viewings in general, is that there's cameras everywhere. Bedrooms, doorbell cams, basements, people hide them everywhere. And sellers will literally sit in their cars sometimes, just down the road, and watch on their iPhone. And they'll listen to you. And so if you insult the paint colors that they did on the wall, or their bedspread, or their grandma's tchotchkes, they're gonna remember that. And sellers are very, very, very sensitive. And so if you have an agent with you, like I tend to, keep things positive and make sure you're not revealing anything personal about your position, or make sure you don't insult anything. But if you go to an open house on your own and you walk through the home talking to your spouse, perhaps, a lot of people don't realize they're on camera and they kind of shoot themselves in the foot. And unfortunately, sellers remember faces, and they'll watch you again when you come for a private showing, and they'll hold it against you, especially in negotiations. So having an agent there is a benefit, I would say. And this sounds mean, but there is always a guy who comes through at least every open house that's busy, and he has a measuring tape on his belt buckle, and he knows everything about houses, and everything is a red flag, right? Everything's bad. They normally hate real estate agents, so they want to come in and take a dump on the property and make it seem like it's a really, really bad investment and there's something wrong with the home. And a lot of times they do this on homes that have absolutely nothing wrong with them, and sometimes I believe it's intentional because they want to scare other people off. But you might love a property and some know-it-all might come through who doesn't know what they're talking about, and they might turn you off of a property you really like based on false information. So, it's best to leave that with an agent, and more importantly with the home inspector. So that's another thing, is people can scare you off of a home that has absolutely nothing wrong with it. So another thing that's really important as far as open houses with my clients is that sometimes I've had agents give my clients bad advice on things like, for example, one time my clients were told that they could renovate a whole kitchen for $10,000, and they believed it. And I didn't find out until a month later that they were, you know, planning to renovate a kitchen for $10,000 because an agent said that. And essentially they were just trying to sell the property that had a bunk kitchen and trying to minimize how much the costs are. But, you know, when I don't know what the flow of information going into my client's periphery is, it's a little troublesome. And so sometimes it's best if you just deal with your agent so that you know you're getting the proper information and not getting sold something that's probably a false promise. If you do want to go to open houses, I totally get it. Sometimes it's just there's a really cool character home and you just want to go see it. I've done it before. But if it's a home that you really like and you're serious about, if you do need to go to the open house, number one, keep your mouth shut. Don't tell anybody anything. Number two, don't go through and open cupboards and the fridge and all that. Be very respectful of the space in case you're being watched on camera. Don't say anything mean about the house. And try to ignore what other people are doing. Just go through the home with a neutral view and get a sense of if you like it. And if you do like it, be sure to come back with your agent so that you can have a full, thorough viewing in private. Anyways, I hope that helps, and happy open house hunting, and hopefully if you like something, make sure you book a real showing, okay? Bye.